Hello, this is Jake from Martian Mall Cop Studios, and today I have something awesome to show you. Today I am going through concept vehicles that should be like future Halos, fixes for vehicles we currently have, etc., etc. So, to first vehicle I've kind of made here. By the way, these are very crappy representations as limits in Forge. I can't obviously design a perfect vehicle, but it will get the idea across. So for this one here, the Mantis in Halo 4 and Halo 5 and every version of the Mantis has always been very overpowered, and I personally feel it was designed incorrectly. The issues I have with it is it's too much to tank. I'd rather it be. So first thing I'm doing here is it will be a faster vehicle, so it will still walk and stuff, but it'll be reasonably fast. What I do is we will remove the rocket silo piece of crap on the left side here, and instead replace it with another turret so it has like two turret hands. Then what you'll do is I want to have it so you have an open cockpit here so that players could jack it and hijack it, but instead of blowing it up, instead they can hijack and steal the vehicle. So also what I'd do is I'd remove the stomp ability and instead give it a thruster pack so that the like a thruster pack dash kind of ability. Since the Mantis itself is already supposed to be like an extension of a Spartan, giving it the like the shielding and all that, and as they've done in previous Halos, my solution for balancing it is in giving it an open cockpit, letting it have these machine gun turrets, and being able to have a thruster pack sort of dash. Because what that would allow it to do is to avoid hijackers, as if I'm jumping towards it and this thing dashes backwards like a thruster pack, and then so forth. It would work with the theme, and it would be more balanced for gameplay. So let's move over to this vehicle. As you can see here, this is a Hornet. The issue I've had with the Hornet is always that the missiles were too powerful, and it was just really too much of a powerhouse, no matter what. So my solution is maybe we should add two turrets on the side of it. Maybe make it look a bit better, you know. But the idea being that you could fly the Falcon. Yeah, fell through my ruse there. I was trying to round about returning the Falcon here. But yeah, I'd prefer a Falcon because overall it's been probably the best air vehicle Halo's always ever had. Reason being is that you have coordination between the turret people in the turret and the people in the pilot seat. So the drivers of the Falcon have always been what's called, you have that cohesion in between. But I still feel that the driver should have some sort of offensive ability. So what I would like to do to improve the Falcon is to give it a sort of bomb thing. So say we stick this right here, and rather than missiles, which are overpowered as hell, what we could do is have a sort of a droppable bomb, you know, like based off the momentum of the Falcon, you could be flying down, and then you could drop the bomb. Like it could just like have a charge for how long before you could use it again, and so forth. But it would be just you drop it down, it would go with your momentum rather than like a missile. Instead, it would just drop, and it would do a considerable damage, like maybe less than a tank shell, but maybe like a Banshee bombs amount. That would probably be appropriate for that. So that is my kind of improvement on the Falcon, and I believe it should be more Halos. Now this is a bit more experimental here. We have I'm calling it like an air tank kind of thing. So the idea is this is a two-man vehicle, and what you would do is it would fly like kind of like almost like the Phaeton does in Halo 5. The only thing different is this is a bit beefier, I could say, so it takes more hits. It's a slow vehicle, but what the advantage is you have a gunner that goes into a kind of bubble kind of shooting thing, a gunner from underneath the vehicle instead. And I am stuck in the grav lift. So that the gunner down here would be able to shoot targets as this would fly above them. So the balance is this would have to be exposed to fire the cannon. And the cannon underneath this, what I'd like it to do is have two firing modes. You could either use if you remember in Reach, and I think it's also in Halo 4, sort of what's the gun called? The concussion rifle shots, like how they have that kind of lop to them that do quite a bit of damage, like that they were fired by from the Phantoms. Well, I think it should have that sort of fire mode, but then also you could switch to a Banshee Bomb secondary fire mode. That would be a have a charge in between how long you could fire Banshee Bombs. Over here, this is a vehicle me and a friend were talking about, and how that the Gun Goose is very ineffective in Halo. I'll just spawn one in and explain why. The Gun Goose, while absolutely cool in BA, is incredibly ineffective because I can't, for instance, with a Ghost, you have this. Actually, I'll spawn one of those in too. So here we have a Ghost here. And with a Ghost, it is effective, despite I hating this version due to its clunky movement, but it is effective because it can strafe while and turn its shots like this, even while standing still, which is effective. But with a Gun Goose here, is insanely ineffective because you can aim a little bit, you know, but in order to like aim that way, I have to turn the Mongoose as so to shoot this way. It's just why the Gun Goose is kind of ineffective. So my solution for a still really a really BA version of a Mongoose is what I'm calling the anti-air Mongoose. This kind of looks a little funny, but hear me out here. So the idea being is this would have a rocket thing in the back of it, so that it would only be one driver, no passengers, as this takes the place of that. And what it would do is you'd be able to fire this, and it would fire like an arc shot, so it would go up and then down, and it could lock onto vehicles, even ground vehicles, but it would be less effective against those because of the arc it has to take before it can go down. So that is the anti-air Mongoose. Also, I think it'd just be really BA trying to like chase down like a falcon or something, driving on a Mongoose to shoot at it. And now, here is a vehicle that is a concept thing. We haven't had a very good vehicle since Halo 3. In Halo 3, we had the Chopper. This is not an exact copy of the Chopper, by the way. But the Chopper was, and I forgot to turn off notifications. Say hello, I'm a Rolling Stone. Alright. But anyway, this sort of vehicle here is my vehicle for the... The idea is it would have a sort of plasma pistol sort of shot, right? Like you could charge it up from the vehicle. So in the vehicle here, you would be able to hold your plasma pistol fire and like charge it to shoot, and it would basically fire a plasma pistol thing, and then it would have to charge up before you could use it again to kind of balance that out. And it would drive pretty similarly to the Chopper. It would also have the plasma rifle shots, but you could charge vehicles, light vehicles like the Mongoose, Ghosts, Warthogs, etc., that and destroy them, and it would have like a shield kind of thing in front. The idea being is we need a anti-vehicle, as each of these vehicles have their own sort of effects. This is what's it called? This is anti-human, anti-infantry, and what's it called? Anti-light vehicle. This is effective at taking out infantry from the light vehicle and so forth. It's fairly effective. Then we have this. This is anti-infantry and also anti-vehicle in a way. It mostly takes out the passengers, as has these guns. The anti-vehicle comes from dropping the bomb, so that it has two sort of effects. Then we move on to this one. This is very tanky. This is anti-vehicle, big time. You can still shoot people with it, but it's mostly effective for that. So because of the Banshee bomb cannon it has. So it's anti-vehicle primarily, which includes heavy vehicles as well, as it has the Banshee bomb sort of firing kind of thing. This is obviously anti-air. It can also be anti-vehicle, but it's more effective at anti-air. And here, anti-vehicle, and it could be infantry, as you can hit people. Because each vehicle kind of has to have those balances out of what can... Now, what this could cause is, say, this could very easily bomb this one. Maybe 2 Banshee bomb shots would kill it, if it does it effectively. While this is... This would be pretty ineffective using the turret guys to attack this. So you'd have to fly above it and banshee bomb it, so forth. There's those sort of checks and balances. This obviously won't be too effective against infantry, as they'll shoot you right out of the cockpit of this vehicle, and you wouldn't be able to lock onto them. This has its own disadvantages in that, first of all, the back is very open. Its plasma pistol charge shot's very slow, and it doesn't have very many range capabilities, but you can still ram things. So yeah, that's what I have for you today. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Later.